And I'm your host, Dana Miliore. How are you today? How is your energy? Let's take a moment to get centered. Just relax your body. Take a deep breath in. And a slow exhale out. Thank you. So today, what I want to be getting into is obviously my whole podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all of that. It's about creation. And today I want to dive into creating from the energy field, creating from the quantum field instead of creating from matter. Okay, because since we can remember, we've been monkey seeing, monkey doing, watching our parents, watching our cousins, watching our friends. And this is how we learn to do a lot of things. And a lot of that is creating from matter, okay, creating in the 3D, from the 3D. And that's completely fine. That's what's got me up to this point almost in my life, except for the last 7 years of my life. So when I started consciously creating from the quantum field, from energy, from the non-physical, okay, because this is a huge component to creating your own reality. Like a lot of you, if I asked you, do you believe in the quantum field? You may say yes, but it's like, how many of you are consciously creating from that space? Because a lot of us put in the action work. And so if you're feeling burnt out, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling let down, if you're feeling like, you know what, maybe this is just not for me, I tried it, that's because you're creating from a limited space. You're creating in the box. You're not popping outside of that creation of this 3D limited world that we see, smell, hear, taste, and touch. Okay, so when we're creating from that limited space, yes, we can create things, but it wreaks havoc on our emotional state, our energy, and it's like going against the grain with stuff. So that's sometimes why you feel it, why you are low energy, why you may need a nap more than other times in your life. When sometimes, you have felt this inspired to take action and you created something amazing and it actually energized you because you were probably, if you were aware of it or not, you were creating from the quantum field. And so I really want to touch base on like how to really practice that in your own time, in a way that you can understand and not use all these technical terms. It's all about emotion. I'm always going to talk about emotion in these episodes because your emotion is your indication of where you are at energetically. And because we have these habitual patterns that our body has really honed in on, that's why sometimes it can feel like your mind's controlling you or your body's controlling you instead of your mind controlling your body. Taming that beast. This body that we are in is like an animal. And so sometimes it's really wanting to know the familiar. It's really wanting to know things that it's used to. So like that's why when I was trying to quit smoking, it was so hard because my body was like that animal and it was urging me to, it's time for that cigarette. It's time for that cigarette, right? Or it's whatever you're trying to kick, your body is going to, like clockwork, get you to take action on that habit. Okay, and so in order to break that, you now need to get off of out of allowing your body to tame you, and you start to tame your body. And you do that by really going inward within your mind, and you have to have that self-awareness. So if you're not currently aware of what your daily thoughts are, my suggestion would be to grab my Ascension workbook. It's absolutely free. Start doing this meditation. It's a 5-minute meditation. You can start amplifying in your daily routine. 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes for you, trust me. And it'll start amplifying your self-awareness. And beyond the mat, beyond the meditation. So beyond that 5 minutes, if you do this consistently for the next 7 to 10 days, you'll start noticing that where your mind goes. And so now you can take that power back, okay? So I recommend doing that if you've never meditated before. It's extremely important to start doing that process because without that awareness, you can't direct and be a conscious creator. So it's a very important step. So, and now if you're a regular meditator, that's great. If you have numerous amounts of self-awareness, you're always tuning in, you're always seeing where your mind is going. That is an amazing habit to create. This is what I do daily to understand, because I still have some patterns that, I'm not a huge fan of, but I've worked through so many. And so now when I still see them come up, I don't even get mad. I'm like, that is the work. That is like applauding myself. Like, I'm aware that's there. I'm just going to tell my body no, like we're not going to do that right now. And I'm going to switch my attention to something else. Why? Because where your attention goes, energy flows, right? So we all know that saying. And so yet we continue to allow our mind to put we continue to put our attention on things that are not serving us. So if you've wondered why, like, you're constantly low energy, maybe you suffer from headaches, maybe you're stressed, maybe you're like the low end frequencies lately. Well, where's your attention? What is your attention on? The second we give our attention to something, whether we want to or not, when we are giving that attention, we're doing this energy exchange with it. So especially with somebody that may be disrespecting you in conversation or online, when you interact with it, maybe you can't control it because maybe it's somebody in your household and they're daily there, and you're interacting with that, you're energy exchanging it. You're allowing them to take your energy, you're taking on their energy, and you carry it with you, especially when you're not aware of how to really clear and stabilize and reset your energy, okay? Because it's very important. And for the longest time, I never did that. And why did it keep getting worse? Why did I keep going into this deep depression? Like, I got myself out of the craziest depression I've ever been through in my life. And in my experience, I didn't want to exist. Okay. And so to not have any therapy, counseling, or medication, and take myself out of that just by going inward and knowing thyself through meditation and beginning the practice of being very conscious of where I place my attention on, completely changed my reality, completely changed me, my personality, my life. And so it can for anybody who is wishing to change an aspect about their life. So again, so where are you placing your energy? And so this comes down to creating from matter, right? Which is the hard way, which is the way we know of, which is where all these kind of limiting beliefs come from, or creating from the quantum field, creating from energy, creating from the non-physical, creating from the senses that we can't see, taste, smell, touch, or hear yet. Okay? But what's crazy is that we can't with our 3D senses, but we can with our internal senses. Because you can close your eyes and you can imagine something, right? You can close your eyes and you can hear a voice talk to you. Whether it's your voice, somebody else's, you can hear words. So what is that? That is that consciousness. Okay, so there's that consciousness within you. It's really going inward there and creating from there. So if you've watched prior episodes and I say things like, you really need to cultivate and feel that emotion. So pinpoint what it would feel like if you had it and then cultivate it. That's literally what I mean by creating from the quantum field. So identifying the emotion can be tricky because sometimes there's a bunch of emotions, but what is the main underlying emotion you would really feel? Sometimes we need to spend time thinking about that. So if it's the $1 million you want, I always use money because everybody wants money, but what is the underlying emotion of what money will give you? Is it freedom? When is the last time you felt free? I know for me, like, it could be something as simple as my first time riding an e-bike and hitting that clutch or whatever you want to call it and just going. Like, I felt so free in that moment. And so what I use is that memory to cultivate that emotion of freedom, emotion of carefree. And it could be different for everybody. And so since you're so uniquely designed even though we're all interconnected and we're all one, you have this individuality about you that creates your state of being, your personality, right? So it's like you're very unique to how you can say, because I can say you want to feel really happy, right? But maybe to you that emotion isn't tied with that outcome, even though I think everything we do is to be happy, right? So it might be unique to you. So you need to do the work to identify what emotion that is. And then you need to go inward. And then you need to shut out the world. So you need to close your eyes. You need to be in a dark, you don't want it too bright, because when your eyes are closed and it's really bright, it's distracting. So you want to be in a dim room, quiet, close your eyes, be in some comfy clothes, okay? And you really want to start letting go of the noise in your mind. Now, if you're new to meditation, then this is going to be a little bit of work for you to really start just randomly creating from the quantum field, because your mind's going to be very busy with habitual patterns that want to pull you and take you elsewhere, okay? Because even right now, if you just tried to close your eyes, quiet your mind, pause this video, and see where your thoughts are going, even if you just sit with yourself for 10 minutes and not say anything and just analyze where your thoughts go, that is like a really powerful exercise to do, and start writing down like maybe things you don't want anymore. Because when you recognize that and become aware of that thought, it gives it less power over you, because you get to decide whether you want to give more attention to it or not. And where attention goes, energy flows, right? So either sit in that room for 10 minutes if you're new to this and analyze your thoughts. Grab the Ascension Workbook if you want. Try that 5-minute meditation for the next, 7 to 10 days. And practice this. Now, if you're actively meditating, and you're like me, and you're really self-aware of your thoughts, then you are really comfortable with this idea of going inward and shutting out the world, okay? And I want you to just create from that space. So a lot of us can use visualization. You can use your inner senses of what it would feel like, smell like, taste like. What would you, and what's also very powerful when you do visualizations is how is this benefiting other people in your reality, right? That's creating from an energy field standpoint. Isn't that amazing that you don't need to go out, do anything, but go inward and start creating from within? And that experience and that energy is so much more powerful than the time you spend with that busy analytical mind all day long. So what can we do? Well, we have to love yourself enough to care that you want to create your reality. If you don't, you can watch as many YouTube videos as you want from Joe Dispenza, Abraham Hicks, all of the people that are going to explain to you how to create your reality. You can watch it. But if you don't actually sit there and dedicate 5 minutes of your time to practicing it, then what is it all for? And you might be emitting good frequencies and good energies when you watch it, but the second you turn that video off, where's your energy at? So I really want to teach you practical things that you can do for you so you can start cultivating this. Okay? And I've talked about this before. I called it ADHD manifestation, which means you want too many things and you might be pulling your energy in too many different lanes. So it's getting some energy, but it's not getting a lot of power, a lot of momentum, because you're dispersing too much of your energy. So you want to focal point and hone in on one thing. What is that one thing you want to start to shift in your reality? Is it something physical, mental, spiritual about you? Or is it something more physical that you want for your lifestyle, right? House, car, money, partner, the lover. So love is a word that trips a lot of people up because we put meaning to specific words. And so really what the best thing you could do for your relationships, to improve all relationships in your reality, is start to go inward and cultivate love within yourself. I know, I've heard the word, I gotta love me. Yeah, and I thought I loved myself for the longest time. I really, truly did, but I really didn't. I didn't really understand that love. Because that love that you're feeling with your daughter, your kids, your son, your mother, your father, maybe your significant other, that love that you're feeling is that inner connection with you. And that love can be felt without anybody else around, just connecting with you and the inner soul part of you. And so for the longest time, I didn't know that. And then when I connected with that and I felt that without anybody else around, I was like, wow, I could never go backward, right? I could never be the way I used to be, thinking that I needed somebody else to love me. Like, obviously right now, the partner that, we've manifested this beautiful relationship together, if he left me, yeah, I would be devastated. But I'd also realize that that love comes from me, not from that person. It comes from that inner connection with me. And so without having that inner connection with me, I can't really give love at the capacity it can be given at. Okay. So going inward and creating from an energy field, creating from energy, not from matter. Because especially with like starting my own online business, and a lot of that I got tripped up with creating from matter. A lot of it, you look for validation, approval from others, and you're constantly waiting for that feedback to feel that, aha, I did it. Right? It is done. Oh, that's a huge one. Joe Dispenza talks about that word, it is done. Like how they say amen at the end of a prayer, to let spirit know that it already is done in the spirit sense of energy. Same with it is done, right? Believing already energetically in the quantum field that it is done, can have huge, profound impacts on the shifts in your reality as well. So it is done. What do you want right now? Connect inward, cultivate the energy, and know by the end of that practice of you, creating from within, it is done. It is done. It is done. I'm going to say it so many times for you because it can be very uplifting and very powerful to try. So what I would suggest from now until next week, find a time that works for you, but you definitely, if you could dedicate 20 minutes, fantastic. But if you're strapped for time, if you're in one of those energy modes where you just feel like you don't have enough time. I hated it. Sometimes I get tripped up and I always feel like, oh, I don't have enough time to do this. And then the universe just shows me why I don't have enough time to do this. And I kind of get caught up in this loop, in this circle. And it takes a little bit to get out of. But when I get out of it, I'm like, wow, I have like endless amounts of time when I really think about it. It's what you give your attention and your focus to, right? Because where attention goes, energy flows. So go back. Okay, give yourself at least 5 minutes if you don't have a lot of time. Decide where you're going to do it. First of all, you want to understand this. If you don't pick a place, if you don't pick a method you're going to practice, and you don't dedicate the time aside, chances are you're going to let this slip through your fingertips, and you're going to be watching me next week and be like, oh, I never did that thing, right? So it's like, pick the method you want to use. If you're really new to all of this, then start with the 5-minute meditation. Or practice, going in and cultivating emotions. Go for it. Whatever you feel called to do. But pick your method. Pick your place. Is it going to be in the office? Is it going to be the bathroom? Is it going to be my bed? I usually like picking an area that I dedicate to this type of stuff. Because it's almost like triggering my body. My body our bodies are habitual, right? So if I put myself in this place, it now knows this is what we're going to be doing. So you could also use how the body reacts to stuff, like these programs we innate with our stuff, like how you get up in the morning, you automatically go to do this, brush your teeth, get the coffee. This is a program that you're on, right? So it's like you can program your body for things that are of benefit to you, okay? And so pick the place, pick the method, set aside the time you're going to set aside, and do it. And do it for the next 5 to 7 days. Watch, you won't be the same energetically if you dedicate those 5-7 days. You won't. If you do the work, you won't. I can guarantee that for you. So this is what I would do. And keep in mind, what is that one thing you want to hone in on? Okay, so don't every day go to this practice for the next 5-7 days and think about something else, because now you're only giving a little bit momentum to something. You really want to focus in on that one thing you want to shift. Is it something about your health? Is it something about the physical reality around you? Pick what it is, dedicate the time, pick the place, pick your method. And for the next 5-7 days, practice this, because you will be energetically different than where you are right now. I just want to thank you so much for, tapping in on this video, spending your time and energy, because I know how much time and energy means when we create our own reality. So for you being here, definitely pop and give yourself a like there down below. Share this video if it meant something to you, because if it helped impact you, it can help impact somebody else. And again, I appreciate you so much being here. If you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube for this podcast, do so now so you do not miss another episode. Thank you again for being here. I can't wait to tune in with you guys next week. If anything gave you that aha moment within this video, make sure to comment about it below. Let me know. Make sure to check out the links that I put below this video, because there's a lot of good information. There's a lot of freebies here you can have fun with. So make sure to check this out. And I can't wait to tune in with you guys next week. Bye for now.
Did you like this episode? If so, make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Are you an expert at creating your own reality? Do you have a story to tell that drastically changed your life? If so, message me at Dream Creation Podcast on Instagram, and don't forget to leave a review.